probably know me as a sucker right now, right? Well, I'm Carl Oberg, but honestly, no one knows Carl. But in the racing world, all I get now is, hey, Cruiser, hey, Cruiser, hey, Cruiser. And they literally don't know my name. They just say it's the Cruiser, thanks to Matt. I appreciate that. But like everyone in this building, we're all addicted to racing in one way or another. You know, a lot of us have it pretty bad. As you can see, I can't refuse something like that. And even in my family with the addiction, sometimes we start the race car up in the winter just to smell the Cam 2 race gas. And with my kids, I would sign their homework. When my wife wasn't there, my daughter would say, Dad, don't do anything stupid. I go, I won't. So I'd sign it, completed by, and then I'd say, the Cruiser number 47. She'd go, Dad, you are so annoying. But I just wanted to say that everyone here are heroes to everybody, like Chapman Reno and Bob Poverari and Bugs and Bill Greco, Dick Houlihan. There's so many people here that we all just watched and we were in awe of. And racing's hard, and these people who make it to the Hall of Fame status are just really unbelievable. But I just want to say quickly, you know, my journey started when I was 6 years old at Stafford Speedway. My dad brought my brother, and he said, let's all pick a car. So I was a serious little guy, and I watched the warm-ups, and I looked out and I says, I'm taking the orange 2X. My dad said, good pick, that's Steady Eddie Funky. And I says, that's my guy. And he ended up being my hero for life. And I enjoyed watching Eddie Jr.'s career, but to this day, I still like talking about Eddie and everything that went on. And it doesn't take anything away from all the other great drivers, but I really enjoyed watching my man Steady Eddie do it. But it's not all about the drivers. They don't put on the show. You need everybody to put on the show, including the announcers. Now, I grew up in Westboro, Mass, and at the Westboro Speedway, we had an announcer named Al Frazier. And I gotta tell you, his voice was smooth. And that show didn't start until he said, welcome to the Westboro Speedway, folks, this is Al Frazier, and you know the program was starting. It was great. By the mid-70s, we would make my stepfather drive us to Stafford, because that was the heyday, okay? All the big heavy hitters started deep in the pack. They played their theme song, what was it, the theme from Shaft. Put goosebumps on it. It was crazy. And then you had the announcing team. You had Bill Welsh, Jackie Aru Jr., Hall of Famer, Mike Joy, Hall of Famer, White Pants, Crimson Jacket, White Winston Patch. They really brought it. They were just a great team. But not to be outdone, you go to Thompson Speedway, you had Russ Dowd, you know, former racer, slight guy, deep voice. He was great. You also had Hall of Fame legend Ben Dodge, just phenomenal. And then when the Super Modifieds came to town, True Value, you had John Spence. And once again, you said, boy, this guy is good. And not to be outdone when the Mighty Midgets came to town, you had Pete Falcone. No one better than Pete. He is great to this day. He's announcing at Thompson New Hampshire Speedway as well. But as we got to be adults and, you know, we started getting into racing, a couple friends, Mark Alden, Ronnie St. Germain. Well, one day, Mark and I are at the races as fans and drinking a number of lollipops. And we hear Rick Fuller comes out of turn 4 like he squeezed out of a tube of toothpaste. We go, what the hell was that? Did we drink too many beers here? What's going down? And at Thompson, it would be, these 3 cars are so close you could put them all in a clearance box. But, you know, that's Matt, you know, and he is an ultra professional. He's amazing. In 2007, again with my friend Ronnie and Mark, we decided we're getting old. Let's see if we can go race the Sunoco Modifieds at Thompson. let's say we tried to race. We did the best we could. But that's when I saw the other side of Matt Buckler. You know, he would come through the pits with his pad and paper, you know, kind of walk, you know, slowly, big smile on his face. And he would ask, how's it going? Hey, Cruiser, how you doing? And any new sponsors? And he'd go from car to car, and, you know, that would transpire, and it was just really fun. And then, you know, our team, after we raced, we would go frequent the clubhouse to have a few more of those Coca-Colas and pizza. And usually Matt would walk in, you know, at the end of the night. And he'd walk in and say hi to people. And he'd make eye contact with him. He'd say, here's the Cruiser, ladies and gentlemen. Not a winner on the track, but a winner in the clubhouse. And then we got to talking with him a little bit, and I realized, man, this guy really works hard. He's telling me, yep, Wednesday I'm at Waterford, Thursday I'm here at Thompson, Friday to Stafford, and Saturday back to Waterford. I said, Jesus, how do you fit in? He goes, well, I got to get going because I'm writing a story now, because this is my part-time work. My main job works for, I don't know what it is, the Journal-Inquirer in Connecticut. And he had to write all night long because that's his main job. Racing was kind of his part-time gig. It was unbelievable. But, you know, I really said, boy, that guy really has racing in his veins. He is just, he's phenomenal. And he's funny behind the mic, super professional, pretty smart guy, but he's not that smart. He also likes New York Jets. And in the middle of the Brady Super Bowl era, we would go back and forth. He'd say, Cruiser, I think the Jets got him tonight. I go, Matt, come on. You know, we're the ones drinking here. Are you sure you're not drinking something? He's like, well, they're gonna beat the Patriots. I said, well, why don't you bet me something? He'd say, hey, Cruiser, how about a steak dinner? I go, sounds good. Well, you know, after they got thumped and I won my steak dinner, he was dumb enough to do the bet again. Double or nothing on the next one. I said, bring it on, bud. And I still am owed 2 steak dinners. I have not collected yet, Matt. But when you're better, let's go get one, okay? Well, I gotta say, I'm so proud of Matt. He is a hard working guy. And he loves the sport. And I'm really proud of Paul, my friend. He is a Hall of Famer now. And I want to bring up Paul Massey to make it official.
Can you believe this? You're going into the Hall of Fame. Without further ado, I'd like to present you as an inductee into the NEAR Hall of Fame 2022.
I have to talk quickly. Because I had the fish. Thank you, Cruiser. Actually, I wanted to give you the name of Carl the Comet, but you just weren't fast enough. There's nothing else I can do. I'd like to thank the committee for making this possible, especially this year. I was going through some rough times, and it was one of the worst years of my life, and it was like I was living at Camp Lejeune. And then I got the call from a rich goucher, and I've been in the penthouse ever since. I'd like to thank everyone with NEAR. I had a great relationship with it for many times, and have a lot of friends here, and you made my year. Thank you very much. It came at a time when I really needed it. And the added bonus to be inducted on the same day as the induction of my first idol in sports, Tony Chapman-Brino, the first guy I ever idolized. The New Britain Herald used to have on Monday the results from the weekend at Plainville Stadium. So I used to get the paper every Monday, and one week the headline would be Tony Chapman-Brino, suspended for life at Plainville. Then the following week it would be Tony Chapman-Brino wins again. So the only driver I know who led Plainville Stadium in victories and lifetime suspensions. I started covering racing in 1980. At the Journal-Enquirer, where I started, we had a good race writer, Mike Atascavage. I'm sure some of you know him, but he went to be a Southington cop, and they had nobody to cover racing. Now, usually in those days, the man who got to cover racing was the low man on the totem pole, and I was so low the gutter was a step up, so they assigned it to me. And to make it even more frightening, the first assignment I had was to do a story on Richie Evans, who had the reputation of intimidation, but he was winning everything in sight. So I called him at his house, and I could have been more happy. What a down-to-earth, well-spoken, took maybe a half hour to talk to me, and I never forgot that, how someone at the giant of the sport could be such a down-to-earth, friendly, accommodating guy. Then I soon found out that's the way all race drivers are. I mean, I've met a lot in the 40 years I've been involved in motorsports, and they've been all great. From Ron Bouchard, who I interviewed at a place called Tommy Van Scoy Diamond Mines before race at Pocono, and Mike Stefanik and Reggie Ruggiero. Then it went down to Ted Christopher and the current crop of drivers like Woody Pitcat and Doug Colby and Tony Membrino Jr. The first time I ever saw him without sunglasses is today. So they've all been great guys to cover and to get along. I had some great moments. In 1983, I wasn't covering the races at Stafford. I was covering an American Legion game, put the final period on the last sentence, and we got a call on the police radio. Something happened at Stafford. So I had no idea what it was, but a photographer and myself went to Stafford to see what was going on. Didn't take me long to find out. Corky Cookman's 04 was in the bleachers. And it was kind of a chaotic scene, and I didn't know what to do. I ran into Brian Ross, and I talked to him. What happened? And he told me almost exactly what happened from his memory. The video came out the next day, and it was exactly the way he said it was. So I really owe him for helping me write that story. And because I was the only writer that night to talk to a driver, I got a $25 bonus, and I spent 50 of it the next day at the beer gardens in Riverside. Then my announcing started in the 90s. I got a good training. The glory days at Stafford, I call it, the early 90s, when the SK Modifieds were becoming the lead division, and they had some spectacular battles. And the two words that a race driver has never said to me was no comment. They had a comment about everything. So back then, it was a war every Friday night. And I would go back to the office, and they weren't racing fans, but they wanted to know, what did Ted Christopher say about Bo Gunning? What did Bo Gunning say about Ted Christopher? What did Mike Christopher say about Ted Christopher? Could you print what Ted Christopher said about Mike? Richie Gallup, John Anderson. It was just great to be part of it. Those Friday nights at Stafford made the madhouse look like a daycare center. There were some crazy times there, and I really enjoyed it. I first started announcing at Riverside Park. Ben Dodge gave me a job announcing school bus demolition derby. And then I announced every Sunday show, which was a lot of fun. But then when Riverside decided to put in a roller coaster and take out the track, I thought my announcing career was over, that I would never get another chance. But as luck would have it, Ben Dodge, who hired me at Riverside, got a job as advisor at Thompson, and he hired me again. And that was a great association, me and Thompson Speedway. I would say the track owner, Don Honig, was one of the greatest people I have ever met in my life. I got his son, DR, was great. And the two benefits of announcing at Thompson, I got to work with a legend, Russ Stout. And we were kind of a good fire and ice combination, as Russ would be laid back and very articulate, and he had a deep voice, and me, I would be out of control. And it was a pretty good team. And the other thing I miss most about Thompson, they had the best clubhouse pizza that Carl knows the answer to that one. Then I went to Stafford, and it kind of started at part-time, but Jack Arute Jr. wanted to start a TV show, a cable show, and it branched out into NASCAR New England. We were on WCTX Channel 59 every Saturday night, and what I remember most about that, we got a higher rating on Saturday night than we did for IndyCar racing when they had it on Sunday afternoon. So the show was very popular. I worked with Ben Dodge, and then I worked with Ricky Fuller. We taped the show at Jackie's Horse Barn in Suffield, and I couldn't wait to get out of there, neither could Ricky. He was so fast, Ricky Fuller, he could do a 30-minute show in 22 minutes. He just couldn't wait to get back to his business. Now, Jackie Arute really helped me. He taught me a lot. And Ben Dodge and Jackie Arute are the two biggest influences I had in my career. As I used to ask Jackie, how do you fill time? And he goes, that's easy. Just keep talking until you have something to say. And I got to be pretty good at that. Went to Waterford, Pete Zanardi, Hall of Famer, recommended me for Waterford, and I had a great association there, and still do. With Terry Eames, was a great owner to work for. He started a radio show, and I hosted that, Let's Talk Racing. And sometimes we didn't have a guest, and I would always be able to call two guys at the last minute, and they would always come on, Ryan Priest and Ted Christopher. And Ted, the best part of the show when we were in commercial break, and that was the stuff that was really entertaining, but nobody got to hear it except me. I was also in a movie that Terry kind of organized, and has anybody ever seen 3 Weeks to Daytona? One person. Oh, that I bought I think the last copy. I heard they made pretty good beer coasters. But Rip Torn was in that movie, who starred in the Larry Sanders Show. I heard he was at Waterford Speedball for 2 days, but he doesn't even remember he was there. It was just something good. I played the announcer, and I don't think I screwed it up. I would also like to thank Tom Dion for getting me involved at Pomfret, Wade Gagner for getting me involved at the Wild Thing Karts. I really enjoyed watching the kids race, and not just the kids. At Pomfret, I got to watch a guy who's going in the Hall of Fame today, Phil Rondo, and he still put on a show, as my tongue could not keep up with him. So it was a great experience at Pomfret. When you drove in, it was like you were going through the set of Deliverance, and then all of a sudden you saw the track and it turned into Shangri-La. And it was like I was announcing going on vacation. It was pretty good. But the last group of people I would like to thank, I don't know their names. I don't know who they are. But they encouraged me at the track. They would say how much they enjoyed it, what big fans they were, and that meant more to me than anything. This year, the few times I would announce from my golf cart outside, and people would come up to me and ask me how they were doing and saying it was good to have me back, and those comments meant more than anything. The fans, that's what we were in business for. Any driver today will tell you they do what they do because of the fans, and the same is true for announcers. And I just would like to thank all the people that I didn't have a chance to thank this year for encouraging me And of course, I would like to thank all my fellow announcers, Ben Dodge, Dean Mercier, Raleigh Jacobs, the main people at Stafford, Russ Dowd, Ed Thompson, and at Waterford, Dave Baraball. I'd like to thank you, Dave, for taking over this year when I couldn't. Of course, John Gates, Mark Fish, Gary Danko. I enjoyed working with them all. So it all started when our racing writer at the Journal-Enquirer went to become a Southington cop. And it turned out not to be just the biggest break of my career. It turned out to be the biggest break in my lifetime, being involved in motorsports and motorsports people. I'd like to thank everybody for making it happen. Thank you very much.